South China Morning Post, 14th of February 2024. Regarding the South China Sea dispute, the Philippines will uphold assertive transparency in opposition to Beijing's bullying behavior. A senior PCG official stated that the PCG had not been instructed to tone down its assertive transparency strategy in response to Beijing's gray zone tactics in the South China Sea. This comes 1 month after the two nations reached an agreement to resolve any disputes in the region diplomatically. Tuesday, at a forum in Manila, PCG Commodore Jay Tarriela stated, "We will persist with the current course of action." Tarriela, the advisor for maritime security to the commandant of the Philippine coastguard, attributed the increased cognizance of the strategy's impact on individuals from diverse nations regarding China's encroachment into Philippine territorial waters. He delivered his address at the forum sponsored by the Strat-based ADR Institute, a research organization based in the Philippines, and Australian Aid, the international aid agency based in Canberra. Foreign and local media were embedded during PCG's missions to Scarborough Shoal and Second Thomas Shoal, where Chinese Coast Guard and Navy vessels had obstructed and sprayed water on Philippine ships on multiple occasions over the past year, as part of the assertive transparency strategy. Additionally, PCG posts details regarding the incidents on its website. These Chinese violations are labeled gray zone actions to emphasize Beijing's territorial assertions without resorting to overt hostilities. Tarriela made these remarks on January 17, following the attendance of Chinese and Philippine representatives at the 8th Bilateral Consultation Mechanism on the South China Sea in Shanghai. The objectives of the negotiations were to facilitate bilateral communications and alleviate tensions over the disputed waters. According to him, PCG was not instructed to modify its assertive transparency strategy after the January 17 meeting. This approach opposes the diplomacy former Philippine President Rodrigo Duterte employed in the past in reaction to comparable Chinese actions. Duterte rationalized his measured approach by asserting that inciting China to adopt a more aggressive posture would result from publicizing such maritime confrontations. Manila disclosed near the end of Duterte's term that it had submitted 211 diplomatic notes with China, of which 153 were dated 2021 when relations between the two countries began to deteriorate. Tarriela stated that PCG's strategy, which commenced during the administration of President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. a year ago, enables ordinary citizens to directly experience the full extent of Chinese gray zone aggression, thereby providing the government with greater political flexibility to confront Beijing decisively. He further stated that an information working group comprised of PCG, the Defense Department, the Philippine Military, the Foreign Affairs Department, the Justice Department, and the National Security Council examines all communications associated with the strategy. "I must be candid with all individuals." He disclosed that not everything they observe and do in the West Philippine Sea is publicly disclosed. As per his statement, the working group initially verifies that any information that is made public will not elicit public alarm or be misconstrued. Our endeavors to disseminate persuasive visuals and videos that accurately capture the illicit activities of China in the West Philippine Sea have attracted global scrutiny and censure. Tarriela stated that many nations are voicing their dissent and solidarity with Manila in response to Beijing's domineering conduct and flagrant disregard for international law. At the forum, U.S. Air Force Captain Benjamin Goyrigolzari also discussed PCG's strategy, stating that it shifts the calculus on gray zone aggression by imposing a steep international reputational cost on the bad actors and as a tool to address asymmetric challenges. As an active participant in Project Myoushu, a group effort at the Gordian Knot Center for National Security Innovation at Stanford University, Goyrigolzari contributes to developing enhanced countermeasures against China's gray zone activities. Citing PCG's strategy, Goyrigolzari asserts that a compelling narrative in the face of Chinese misinformation can be provided by a free press. Philippine vessels are staffed by journalists who are prepared to record encounters with Chinese militia to expose the bullying that China is engaging in the South China Sea, he further stated. The strategy was attributed by Victor Dindo Manhit, president of the Strat-based ADR Institute, to increase public support for Manila's West Philippine Sea maritime sovereignty. The region encompassing the South China Sea comprises the Second Thomas Shoal, which Manila calls Ungan Shoal. In this area, the Philippine military established an outpost by beaching a vessel. China designates the shoal as Renaijiao and asserts sovereignty over it. Undersecretary of Foreign Affairs Teresa Lazaro of the Philippines and Nang Rong, Assistant Foreign Minister of China, reached an agreement on January 18 to enhance maritime communication between the coastguards and foreign ministries of both nations in the South China Sea to de-escalate tensions in the region, according to a press release from the Philippine Foreign Office. Additionally, both parties pledged to prevent any escalation of tension, according to the statement. The Chinese Ministry of Foreign Affairs released a distinct piece of information which addressed identical matters, including the need to adequately manage maritime emergencies, specifically the situation at Renai. Raymond Powell, retired U.S. Air Force colonel and founder of the security think tank Project Sealight and a fellow forum participant, and Gaurav Gulzari have jointly authored a paper concerning maritime security cooperation among nations, including the Philippines. For example, collaborative missions in contested waters have been proposed by the United States, Japan, and Australia. Japan has extended amicable loans and grants to procure additional Coast Guard vessels, and France has intensified its intelligence sharing. In addition to sending a resident defense attaché to Manila for the first time, Canada recently began providing cutting-edge satellite feeds to enable the Philippines to monitor dark vessels operating illegally within its exclusive economic zone, they said. Vessels are considered dark under maritime law if they disengage their automatic identification systems or transponders to evade public or satellite monitoring systems. However, radar systems may still identify them in such cases. Gaurav Gulzari stated at the forum that China increased its gray zone activities in response to greater international cooperation in the South China Sea. Powell emphasized the criticality of institutionalizing transparency and information dissemination as countermeasures to China's ambiguous strategies in the contested waters. As soon as the lights in the gray area are turned on, the cockroaches scatter, he explained.